feel great today. Just finished an incredible workout with kettlebells, and I'm excited to talk about this all-important topic. And it's something that every chiropractor has to confront and face and seek the truth. We are seeking the truth here, all right? So we must burst any illusions or fantasies as it relates to what? Getting paid, okay? And what I mean is this. Who determines how much you get paid? Some of you might say, I do. Do you really? Some might say insurance companies. Some might say patients. See, there's a few different answers that come into play here. What determines this is really the marketplace, which I'll come back to in a second. Here's the next question for you. Do patients care what your overhead is? Do patients care that you owe on your student loan still, possibly? Do patients care about any money thing happening anywhere in your life? The answer is no. They could care less. They have enough to worry about on their own. They don't care about your overhead, your bills, or any of your stuff. Okay? And they shouldn't care. All right? They don't care. So question number one, what determines how much you get paid? And then question number two is, do patients care about any financial thing that's happening with your practice or with your life? And the answer is no. So I'm going to set this up with those two questions. Next thing is, we have these illusions, okay? Sometimes called a fantasy. Okay? There is a famous saying, and it is this. Every person has the unalienable right to have an opinion, no matter how wrong it may be. And that's what we see in the world today. Everybody having all their own personal opinions, regardless of how wrong or crazy or how stupid they may be. Every chiropractor is entitled to have their own opinion, no matter how wrong it may be. You are entitled to have your opinions, regardless of how wrong they are. Okay? So let's make sure we don't have thoughts or opinions that are wrong. We want the truth here. We want to be able to seek the truth versus having illusions or fantasies of how we think things should be versus how they really are. Meaning this. I've had people, as it relates to care plans, say, well, I need this for my overhead and I need that, so I'm going to set my prices like this. They don't care, the public, the thousands of people available to come in and see you. Okay, that is not how you determine your pricing necessarily. Okay, another fantasy, or you might say this, it's a lack of awareness of what's really happening in the real world out there. Okay, and what people will actually really do and sustain it over time. Okay, so we want to have this reality of what will people, i.e. patients, really do? What does the public really think and really want to do? See, in chiropractic, we're in our office, we have such a unique view of the world, in view of our practice, in view of chiropractic, in view of its worth, and all that's good. But people out in the real world don't care. So how do we interface with them in a way that they want to come in and they want to stay? Okay, so we must eliminate any illusions and fantasies. I'll give you an example of illusions and fantasies. I would consider myself athletic. I would consider myself to be a pretty decent athlete. Really? Compared to who? Compared to the guy that just won the CrossFit Games? Compared to the guy that just finished the 12-mile Tough Mudder and then got back in line to do another 12 miles again? What, compared to the guy who cycled 120 miles today? Get my point? You hear this, lunch with a guy. Well, I'm a pretty athletic guy. And you look at him and go, dude, you can't do anything. You couldn't do hardly a pull-up. You never exercise. See, in other words, they have opinions no matter how wrong they may be. See? So, as it relates to chiropractors and as it relates to fees, chiropractors will say stuff, well, I want to get paid what I'm worth, and I want this and I want that. Yeah, well, you don't get to determine what you're worth. They do. And I'll go over that in just a minute here. So we have to have honesty. That's the king. I had one guy on the phone not very long ago. I won't take less than $39 a visit, blah, 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 blah. And that's why he's seeing 60, 70 visits a week after 15 years in practice. Another guy, how much does it cost for a guy to come in every week? Oh, $210 a month. It's over $200 a month for a guy to come into your office once every week. A grand total of maybe 10 minutes with you. So 10 minutes with you over the course of a month is $210. And it's no wonder that guy has like nobody doing it. Nobody. Because he has set a fee with what he wants, which is completely off of what the public will actually do. And so he sits there. Okay? So we must be aware of this. So, you want to get paid what you're worth? What are you worth? Here is how it is determined. By the way, very quickly, how do you determine what a hamburger is worth? Well, easy. How many people are buying it? That's what it's worth. How valuable is a car? What's a car worth? Well, I don't know. How many of them are you selling? Are they sitting there, or are people just loving it and buying them? That's what the car is worth. How much is a comedian worth? A comedian is worth what? How many people show up to hear the guy talk? Hello. Okay? And the same is true of any industry. What the person is worth is determined by how many people show up for whatever it is that they have. Okay, what an item is worth is determined by how many people want to buy it. Not by the company or any of these other people. It's determined by how many people want it. Okay, that's what determines its value and what it's worth. So here it is, the law of compensation. Pay attention carefully now. Number one, the law of compensation, this is my ink, says this. You will get paid in exact accordance with these three things. Number one, the need for what it is that you do. The need. Out there in the world, is there a massive need? Yes, there's a massive need. Is that the accurate thought? And the answer is no. Because the real thing is, it's the patients that feel that they need what you have. See how all of a sudden that's a fraction of what people actually need physically out there? Everybody needs to go to the chiropractor. So what? It's the percentage of people that feel that they need it enough that they're willing to make a decision to go. That's the real need right there. Okay? Number one. Next thing is this. Number two is your ability. Your ability with what you do. Your skill level, your technique, the layout of your office, the quality of your equipment, your location, how easy it is to get to and from, okay? Your team, your plans, everything. The temperature, the smell, your hygiene, okay? Your fingernails, how you look, your communication skill, your scripting, all of that stuff. Your sheer ability to provide something that the public will like. All right? Not determined by you, but determined by them. All right? See, I think I have this great ability. Really? Well, within 6 blocks of where I'm standing right now, there are 11 chiropractors. There's 2 over here, another 2 over here, 2 right across, 1 right behind me over here, another 2 over here. One guy over here has been practicing 40 years. What's his ability compared to mine? Okay? So what really is your ability? Your ability is compared to whoever else is around you. That's your ability. In sports, how is your ability? Well, I don't know. How do they do in competition? That's how you determine your ability. Not just saying, well, my ability is this. No. It's determined by where you are compared to everybody else. Where are you with that? What really is your chiropractic ability? Your management ability, your adjusting ability, okay? Your methods of running the office ability, your communication ability, your persuasiveness ability, your scripting ability, your exam ability, your ability to find subluxations and make really good adjustments and communicate to people their need to continue to do that. See, that's your ability. Part of that you're born with, part of that you have to work to get. Some people aren't born with very much ability in chiropractic, but they work hard and they succeed. Some people have lots of ability, they don't work very hard and they sit there. Okay? But we want to have maximization of all of those. So law of compensation, number 1 is the need. Okay? Number 2 is ability. Okay? And the third thing is the biggie here. How difficult is it to replace you? How difficult is it to replace you? If someone comes in and they don't like it, how difficult is it for them to find somebody else? Not difficult at all. You can be replaced in one phone call. Phone, chiropractor in your area, poof, poof, they're gone. They can be in another office within 10 minutes. You're simple to replace. Now you think you're great, and I think I'm great, but I realize there's 11 chiropractors around me. Many of them have been in practice longer than me. They're nice people. They're quality chiropractors. Okay? Some of them are members within this group, quality chiropractors. So how hard am I to replace? I can be easily replaced. No matter how great I think I am in the fantasy, in the illusion I'm running in my own mind. The reality, boom, burst the bubble is they can leave me and go right across the street and have a chiropractic experience. So because of this, because of these 3 things, okay, in chiropractic, this is why you can't charge $100 a visit cash and have anybody pay. Because you can be simply replaced in 10 seconds with someone who will charge less. Okay, your ability probably isn't as good as what you think it is. Okay, and of course the need for what people have is there. It's just a matter of matching the ability and matching the cost and the fee and everything so that you are positioned perfectly. Okay, that's what I'm getting at here. The need is there. We have to get your ability maximized and get your pricing and everything maximized. So there is a point where you can't be replaced. In other words, I know guys seeing 1,000 visits a week. He probably averages $12 to $15 a visit, if even that. See, you can't replace him because nobody's going to work for that cheap. But his speed is so good and his volume is so good, he has a massive practice. So he's very unique in his area. I'm not necessarily suggesting that. I'm just saying that it's hard to find certain things at the extreme ends. All right? So we have to find the balance point here. And the balance point lies in this. It's that you understanding your job is to have a fee structure that interfaces with the public that they can afford and sustain over time. It's different than what you think it is. It's determined by them, not by you, although we have some guidelines, okay? And in our wellness plans, in our samples, you'll see those in there. So the key thing is this. Number 1, you want to get better. We must increase our ability dramatically. Your hands-on skill, your communication skill. See, many chiropractors want to try to seek a new system. They may be even in my group and want to go learn some other way to do stuff. Will it matter? No. Because they're the same person. It doesn't matter how much you change the laws if you have the same person, the same lawbreaker in all the communities. See, it doesn't matter what system a chiropractor does if it's still the same chiropractor. Okay? So if you're successful at one thing, you'll be successful anywhere. I could do a report of findings 100 different ways, and none of it would matter. They would all be successful for me because I'm successful. Okay? So for you, you want to increase your ability and not be looking outside yourself to find some other way to do things that you think, no, you got to fix yourself, and then all those other things will work. Okay? So we want to increase our ability dramatically through seminars, through training and all that, so that you as a human being have the energy, you have the vibration, you have the power, you have the certainty, you have the love, you have the coolness, you have the, what we might call the casual observer element, okay? So your ability is incredible and better than everybody else. Then, of course, make yourself so it's very difficult to replace you. Very difficult to replace the experience they have in your office. We want that to be unbelievably good. And as all these things improve, people realize their need, people value your ability more, they realize you're hard to replace, then yes, what you collect can increase and what you charge can increase some. but it still has to be within a range that the public can handle. So be aware of all this stuff. Let's seek the truth and let's interface with the public where they're at versus have some fantasy of what we think it should be. Let's get down to what it really, really is. Great job.